Thor is a person. It's a tough concept to tackle, especially at 1:45 and 3 in the morning. Really, like anybody else, any other than my friends, it would be easy. But Thor is definitely a complex character.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Robbie, you ready? Yeah, no.
He's an enigma, I think.
Thor is one of the greatest guys you'll ever know. Like, he's a good guy, but
I feel like I know him pretty well. Haven't seen any common sense yet.
I'd say Thor is like one of like the smartest people you'll ever meet without ever knowing that.
And I don't think that's a personal sentiment. I think that's pretty general.
What would you say? 6'1", 6'2", blonde? Probably not.
Thor's an ugly motherfucker.
I've never even seen the movie, but I assume the Blob looks something like Thor.
One time I saw Thor.
It's bad.
He's just not even circumcised, man.
Blonde-haired German with a massive spare tire.
I think he's an attractive guy.
Very bright, very intelligent, but trouble always seems to find Thor.
If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to him. If you can find a way to like do something the wrong way, trust me, he's going down that road first. And everybody has their own Thor story. Everybody has that one story that just epitomizes who that kid is and what they'll always remember about him. Well, it all went down in the summer of 96.
96, that's right, yes.
And it was like the first week in June, and El Narrator and myself and Thorlo decided to go to Charlotte Latin and play some extreme frisbee. Well, about halfway down the road, about halfway there, maybe on a mile or so, we decided that my car has absolutely no oil because it's an '84 Volvo, you know, whatever, class piece of shit.
Thor's over at JB's house. JB, you know, had run out of oil, so they're gonna fill the car with oil, you know, like you do. And
So we get back to my house, and Thor decides, well, you know, it's okay if the car's been running for a while. We'll just pour some oil. We'll be real careful about it all.
so JB's over there like pouring the oil into the car, right?
Be careful, you don't want to spill it, because as we all know, oil is flammable.
Yeah, right. No, careful and Thor. No,
that didn't happen.
Definitely not in the same sentence.
Thor decides JB's, you know, pouring it like a woman. He needs to pour it like a man.
Thor's like, that's not how you do it. Knocks the shit up
So he just poured like oil all over the engine.
and catches the fucking whole engine on fire.
Flames everywhere in my car.
You know, Thor steps back, he sees the 4-foot-high flames, and he giggles, because it's funny at first. Then he realizes, this is dangerous. I better put this fire out. So, you know, he does the only intelligent thing. He steps up and he starts to blow the fire out.
And Thor starts doing this.
So JB's like, what?
Didn't work at all. So eventually, like, we ended up getting just fire extinguisher stuff blown like all over the car, in each other's faces. Good times. Good times and bad times at the same time.
Okay, so Thor and I are rooming together for our freshman year of college.
Well, and then there's the time, of course, where like Thor gets really hungry. Wait, always hungry.
If you know anything about Thor, one thing is he gets very, very hungry because he's a very, very obese person. So he saw the signs on the side of the road for the Ronald McDonald House.
But not really so much the McDonald's where you get food, but the Ronald McDonald House where they help needy children live.
He turns off in the Ronald McDonald House. and follows the signs everywhere. It's way back in the woods.
So he pulls into the Ronald McDonald house. He's looking for the drive-thru, which doesn't exist at the Ronald McDonald house. Still parks his car and walks up to the front door.
And so he goes in and he just figures, I don't know what he figures. I guess it was just odd McDonald's.
And walks in before he even figures out that it's not McDonald's.
So they turn him away, which is odd for Thor and Food, because Thor and Food really usually get along pretty well.
Hey, but you know, he thinks with this a lot.
Yeah, my sister still tells a story on a daily basis. I think it's definitely her favorite Thor story.
You know, the one I always tell is he's walking across the street to Pantana Bob's.
Hey, listen to this shit, this is funny.
And you know, we're out, we're walking to P-Bob's and everything. Thor still has a beer with him. He's not quite done pooning his last beer.
Thor always had a bad habit of fucking walking with his fucking drinks and shit.
But that's not keeping him from pooning as we go across the street, you know?
So Thor's got his gold can of Beast.
Thor's got the beer cocked up, you know, I'd say a good 45-degree angle. He's putting it away. And he holds out one hand to stop traffic as he's pounding it.
Thor's like, what? What? Hey, stop a second, stop.
You know, all of a sudden some blue lights come on and somebody gets out of the car. It's apparently a police officer. Thor realizes this and leans over and asks us, he's like, what should I do?
Thor's just like freaking. He's like, what the hell do I do? One of our boys, like Quam, just like turns around. He's like, hey, Thor, run!
So Thor chucks his beer, hits the window of the building. Beer goes everywhere.
So Thor just takes off running. As we see him go around the corner, one of the chutes goes flying off.
Thor's gone. We don't see Thor for like 2 more hours. The cop chases him, you know, he gets back in his car, peels out and everything.
2 hours later, we catch up with him. He's at his fraternity house. He's a pica.
Now, he's lost a shoe, but when we find him, he's wearing a completely different pair of shoes, and he's got 2 of them now.
Wearing a brand new pair of shoes. We're like, Thor, what's up? What happened?
Well, he starts off by explaining the shoes. You see, Thor knew that the cops would be looking for a man with 1 shoe. He knew that. He's smart, like I said.
Knew the cop was looking for a one-shoed man. So I tossed my other shoe away in the garbage.
Now he has no shoes. Nah, they're not looking for a man with no shoes. They're looking for a man with 1 shoe.
It's like, what?
See, Thor's already a little ahead of the game here.
Takes off his shoes, we look at his feet. Feet are just socks, just blood everywhere, duct tape. We're like, what the hell happened?
So after Thor loses his other shoe and he's now on the run, you know, he's got to cross this construction site over there by P-Bob's. He's got to climb a fence, you know.
Is running through that whole fucking church neighborhood, at some point abandoned one of his shoes.
And he's got to cross this big site that's filled with broken beer bottles and, you know, all kinds of glass and you know, like rebars everywhere, all this like jagged steel. You know, Thor has no problem with that. He's walking across it. It's like John McClane from Die Hard. So he cuts up his feet pretty badly, you know. But Thor, as we all know, is going to be a doctor one day. So he put those skills to use pretty early on here.
He poured Southern Comfort all over the wounds.
And then, you know, he wants to stop the bleeding, so he's got to apply a little pressure. So he puts his bloody, dirty socks back on. He gets a roll of duct tape and he duct tapes his socks to his feet, which is, yeah, that's pretty intelligent. And then he goes back to the Pica house. You know, he gets a friend to loan him a pair of shoes. So now Thor's back in business, you know. He's ready to start drinking again.
Just the shit that happens to that kid, it's ridiculous. Like, he gets into more trouble and just more awkward situations just by being Thor, it seems like.
Those are our fucking beer. And he's like, and we're even. Wait, look at that camera! That's Thor! That's the idiot we're talking about!